Hi folks, and in this video what we're going to look at is expanding upon what we've previously done by having a weapon to actually assign it to a pickup, so the pickup object will then change the actual weapon type. So at this moment in time from our previous tutorial we have our single pistol, there we go, the light pistol, which we can use within the game world, which currently does 10 damage, and if I change it in here to the light rifle, all of a sudden it should do 20 damage. But what we're going to do is we are actually going to get it so you have to walk into an object within the game world to pick that up, and then we can have it actually change the weapon itself. So what we're first going to do is add a variable, and we're going to call this one, oops, sorry, this is on the main player, and we're going to call this current weapon. Current weapon, and we'll say name because that variable already exists, and we're going to set it to a string just like so. Then what we're going to do is we are going to do the following. We're going to create a new actor just here by right clicking down here, going to blueprint class, going to actor, and we'll call this weapon pickup like so. And what we're going to do is add two elements to this to start off with. First of all, we're going to add a single cube, which we're just going to change the size of. So let's make sure the padlock's on because it makes it a bit easier to do this. Set this to 0.2, then press compile. And then what we're going to do is add some collision to this object. So we're going to type in COL and get box collision like so. You'll notice it's actually smaller at this moment in time than the object, so what we're going to do is we're going to undo that movement, and we're going to just scale this up by 2.2 by 2. There you go. So what should happen now is we should be able to walk into this collisionable object, and then we have the little picture of the cube at this moment in time just as an indicator. Of course we could swap this out with another static mesh or a skeletal mesh of a weapon if we wanted to later on, but for now this will do as a placeholder. So what I'm going to do is just quickly drag and drop this into the game world. There you go, just press end to make it appear in the center. If we just click on there, you notice you have the central node just there that will actually determine where 0.0.0 is on your actual 3D object. And now I've moved it up a bit, it sits quite nicely on that plane. So we're now going to add a little bit of code to this. First of all, we're going to drag the box in like so, and we're going to get component begin overlap just here. Now what we're going to want to do is we're actually going to get the data from the data table that we created previously. So get data table, there you go, utilities, get data table row, and we're going to select weapon data damage type. Now this is the point where we're actually going to set which weapon we're wanting to pick up. So for this one we'll have it set to the actual light rifle. Now what we're going to have to do is send this information over to our player with our current weapon name so they know which weapon they've actually picked up. And we're going to do it by doing the following. So if this row is found, we're then going to cast to main player like so, get player character just out of the actual object reference, and then this is called current weapon name. We're going to set this current weapon name, there we go, to the name of this object. So we're going to break these weapons and then assign this to this and this to this. So what should now happen is when I walk on top of this collision zone, we're going to set the weapon type to light rifle, which will go over to our current player. Now if we also want to set the weapon damage, there you go, remember we had a variable set called current weapon damage back on our player from previously, which was actually doing the damage to the character. We're then going to set that to the correct weapon here. Right, now that's completed, what we're also going to do is add a slight destroy actor at the end, so when we walk into this object it should then disappear. And just to check, and test this, what we're going to do is add a print statement on, and we're going to print the current name of the weapon, like so. This is just for debugging purposes to check that it works. So if I spawn in, I then walk on top of the object, it's then come up with the name rifle, and it's actually disappeared. Now if I go to shoot, it's now doing the damage of the rifle. So everything is slightly better, and now we have a working rifle type. Now let's just check one thing, because the data is actually set to the pistol data to start off with. If I just go to shoot these, you notice it's doing 10 damage, and now if I walk on top of this, ooh, there we go, I picked it up finally. You notice it's doing 20 damage. And there, folks, is how you'd create a way of changing your weapons over in the game world.